So, Dr. Thomas, we're back together again to share some wisdom and thoughts about some areas around aging. Thanks for joining us.
Glad to be with you, Katie.
So, do you think we could start off today talking about holidays? I've heard you share some thoughts about holidays. Usually, we look at holidays as a festive time, but sometimes they can be challenging.
Mhm.
Any thoughts you have on if you're an older adult, kind of how to go in and look at holidays and as family members.
Yeah, actually, I think the way you structured that is correct, that it's a dynamic between younger relatives and older relatives kind of coming together for these family experiences, whatever the culture and tradition might be. And I think both older people and younger people sometimes forget that holidays represent a change from the baseline status quo. And in most cases, especially for older people, they demand more reserve capacity. Because think about, a person's regular daily activity, and then think about them spending a week with a family with 6 kids running around and a cousin from Atlanta. There's a lot more demand placed on people. So here's a couple of things that I think are important to remember is that although we are in our mind, we play a little trick with ourselves and think that our older relatives are just like they were 30 years ago, they're not. And from my point of view, there's nothing wrong with that. They've been changing and growing for those past 30 years. And one thing that has changed is their amount of reserve capacity. So a holiday tradition that might have fit perfectly for somebody 30 years ago might be overwhelming for them today. So uh, families that are tuned into this often modify their holiday rituals and routines to accommodate the fact that the older people that they love need more time for rest and recovery. And they
Mhm,
build that in and they give allowance for that.
mhm,
So people have permission to kind of retreat for a little while, maybe put their feet up, maybe take a nap. What is it that helps them refresh their reserve capacity so they can get more enjoyment out of it? Last thing I'll say, though this topic we could go on at length here, but I will say it's also true that at holiday time, many times there are younger relatives driving older relatives distances to a family gathering.
mhm,
And sometimes the younger people forget that age calls for a different rhythm in travel. And I think it's important for those younger drivers to stop more frequently, allow more time out of the car, moving
mhm,
around. Um, you want to reduce the risk of blood clots and increase circulation and make sure people are able to use the facilities when they need to. All those things are really important for the person. So, and I like to think that the young people can learn something too about not rushing madly off wherever they're going and taking a little more time to enjoy the journey.
mhm. Some of what you say really, really meets the needs of people of all ages.
R-
So thank you for
So,
sharing that.
so true, isn't it? Like
Mhm.
if we can internalize those lessons, we can make our own lives better.